Podcasts, Stitcher. It should be on Apple Podcasts. We have the YouTube going so you can watch and listen. Or, if Wednesdays at 4:30 don't work for you, you can listen to the show on Thursdays and then, comment on the show on Facebook or however you want to interact with us, and we will definitely still respond to that. But very excited to say that we are on the podcasting apps now as well. So that is a exciting addition to the show if you can't join us live. Today we are welcomed by Curtis, as we are going to be once a month, to get some updates about what's going on in the worlds of boxing, MMA, just the combat sports universe. And so we're going to kick it to Curtis. Some of the things that have happened since the last time we had Curtis on the show were the Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul fight. And just this past weekend, I believe, was the Conor McGregor and was Poirier, right? It was Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
Who he fought.
The Diamond.
And Conor McGregor's leg injury. So we're going to talk about that too. See, Jake got kicked out. I'm wondering if it's a similar issue that I might have. Curtis, you might end up being host of the show pretty quick here because we got some bad thunderstorms rolling through Wisconsin right now. So,
oh, dude, I seen the radar. It looked bad.
It's pretty red.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Jake will probably be back here. But so let's start with the Floyd Mayweather and it was Logan Paul fight. So my question to you for that fight was, it seemed to me more like a spar matchup than it did an actual boxing match. I don't know if that's your assessment of it or not.
Yeah, that's a good assessment, man. From the outside looking in, it kind of did look like that. You got to take all the factors into it, man. Logan's a big kid. That face-off picture, man, that really kind of scared me a little bit, made me nervous because I was fully on board that Floyd was going to do what Floyd does, be able to counter punch, move, and just do whatever he wants to do with this kid. And so that face-off picture made me a little bit nervous, man. And then especially when they got in the ring there, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting now. And with Floyd being where he's at, being 50-0, taking those risks is pretty crazy to me, man. So the fact it looked like a sparring match, with Logan being so big, Floyd had to do what Floyd does. He takes his time. He breaks people down. He makes people miss, and then he takes them out. He did the same thing to Conor McGregor when they did it. Conor had a first few, 2-3 good rounds there, and then Floyd eventually took over the fight and was able to put Conor away. So with that being said, Logan is how much younger? I would say probably 15, 20 years, probably younger, something like that in the ballpark.
I'll look it up while you're talking.
All right. Yeah, so that's a big factor. The age is a big factor. The size is a big factor. And to be honest with you, man, Logan can box, man. That kid can actually box. He's a lot better than I thought he was going to be, and I think Floyd recognized that right away. He could tell. He's like, all right, and with a guy that big, anybody can take anybody out. So as the fight progressed, you could see Floyd, working him down a little bit, and then it became like a holding match. That was the biggest thing I noticed. It was every time with the size difference and the length difference and the reach difference, you're going to have that where Floyd's got to get in on the inside, and that's not totally what Floyd's known for. He's a defensive fighter. He makes you miss. He counter punches. He doesn't get hit. He gets out of the way, right? So his whole philosophy really changed when he got in there. So Logan had a decent first round. I think the first round he ended with that barrage of punches, not the best technique, but with a guy like that being able just to turn his hips over, you get hit like that, everybody's human. You can go down and might not get back up. So I think he realized the risk right away that Logan could really, really box. He was way bigger. He's younger. Came in phenomenal shape. So as he worked through the fight, Floyd was able to get in there. But the thing with the size and length difference is Floyd, he had a lunge in there. He really had a lunge in and throw big shots. And Floyd was throwing big shots, after that first half of the fight. He started throwing big shots, but the only way he could do that was by getting inside of the guard of Logan Paul. And that's the only way you can do that is kind of work your way in. And he was lunging in, throwing big uppercuts, big overhands, and then he would get held, and then the ref would break it. And he'd do it again, do it again, do it again. So I wouldn't say it was total that it wasn't a sparring fight. I don't think so. It wasn't like a Roy Jones Jr. fight with the Mike Tyson fights and some of these fights that you see that are really, they pre-planned that, not punch in the face, kind of work the body, make good money, make a big check. So with that being said, man, Logan can box, and even Floyd said that after, man, he knows that he can really, really box, man. And so with the resources the Paul brothers have, the money they have, man, they can hire and bring in the best of the best to teach them and train them. And they got all the time to be able to devote to that. So he really surprised me, to be honest with you, that he was that damn good. And, a lot of people are talking, oh, Logan, are you going to move into actual boxing and go for a world title? And I don't see that happening. With the size difference here, Floyd was able to get in and significantly win that fight. I just don't see him moving forward in real boxing. So, my question is, what's next for Logan Paul? He's got so many different options that he can do besides boxing. But if he wants to box, I see that more or less being, money fights, like celebrities, maybe a Conor McGregor fight, maybe a Dylan Dennis fight. There's some big fights out there. And the way these guys talk and promote, they can almost create any window of opportunity that they want. And I'll give it to them. They're really good at that. So there's no saying what the future holds for Logan. But I would see him not necessarily taking boxing serious, making a run for it and going in against guys his size that have been boxing for 20 years. I don't see that working out for him, and he's smarter than that. But as Floyd, what's next for Floyd? I would love to see him just hang it up. That was a really risky fight. If he gets caught and dropped and knocked out by that kid, that you can tarnish your career. We kind of see that playing out with Conor right now. When's enough? They both got hundreds of millions of dollars with Conor and Floyd, and you kind of see these fighters keep coming back. It's like, why? But as you said, you thought it was a sparring match. I think Floyd was just being patient with him just because of the size difference, reach difference, age difference. Floyd probably hasn't been training like he was back in the day. So I think those all came into play, and Floyd really you could tell he was going for his head, but every time he go in, he'd get held up. And that's smart on Logan's part, because Floyd's the best in the world for a reason, man. He's going to piece up anybody. But I think it was a good fight, man. That was a win. That's a total win for Logan Paul, man. That's a total win in my book, honestly. As much as I was rooting for Floyd, I said that's a win for Logan Paul, man. Hanging in there with Floyd, with only boxing for a couple years now, being a YouTuber, a Disney kid, it's pretty impressive, even with the size difference. So that's kind of what I took. It was kind of just what's up, Jack? You look like you got something.
So first of all, do I sound okay? Is my mic working good?
Yeah, you're good, bro.
Yeah. So first, I want to ask. You can still hear me. I'll continue talking because I got a question for you.
I don't need to see your face, bro.
No. Nobody needs to see this face.
Maybe this is how we do it moving forward.
So, first of all, do you ever watch the celebrity boxing?
Not a whole lot, but I see clips. I'm not really into it, man.
So,
but
my stepson, I don't know, he just loves this YouTuber named Ben, and he was all in on his boxing match, and he wanted to watch it, and he wanted me to pay for it, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know where to watch it. I was like, I'll message my brother, and then he was like, no, he lost. I already saw. I don't want to watch it anymore. I was like, oh, so you don't want to watch it when he gets beat up? Okay, that's fair. Secondly, I was gonna make a little comment about McGregor. He doesn't even have to fight anybody anymore. Dude, he makes all his money now because his mouth makes him all the money. And he's got what's he got, a tequila out now or
whiskey?
A whiskey?
Irish whiskey.
Dude, he can make so much money off of that. And all he has to do is go and have a presser and talk crap about people just like Donald Trump used to do and just freaking run his mouth for 30 minutes and then he's good to go. Nobody wants to watch him fight anymore. He's the best trash talker in the world.
Yeah, Conor's got $400 million, man, and I think he sold. I'm obviously in the liquor business myself, so I have a little intel, and I've heard, I think he sold it for like $600 million. But I think I want to say he got $100 million up front for his brand. And then as long as, I think it's like 5 years, as long as the brand keeps performing as it has been, he will continue to get his money as it goes, just so that, the company that bought it is protected. So you got $100 million, right? I think he's worth $400 million. So to see him coming back and fighting, it's just like, why? It's like you sleep in silk sheets every night. It's hard to get up and hit that pavement every day and be that dog and be that hunger that Conor once was. So
you're not used to sleeping on that horrible, shitty hotel mattress anymore, dude. Shit. You're sleeping on like the top of the line shit. wearing the top of the line clothes, driving the top of the line cars. Man, you don't have to act like you from the mud no more.
He's a pimp rocking Gucci mink, bud.
Yeah, he really is, bro. I know he is. I love McGregor, man. He went real far, after he broke his ankle. But
that's Conor's power there, man. That's Conor's power. No matter what, he's always going to be able to make money. People are always going to watch him fight. And we'll get into that. But to paint the narrative of the whole story, like, I don't understand why he's doing it anymore. I think, what's another $20 million to a $400 million man? And so people are always going to watch him fight because it's Conor. Conor could come back after this injury. He just had surgery. He had a broken tib. So he broke that, snapped that baby clean in half. And so he could come back, man. If he does come back to UFC, I don't see it until like 2022. And then, that being said, all that time off, what are you doing? What's he doing? Is he just enjoying life? Like, he should be. And if anybody's mad about that, you're crazy, man. He's worth $400 million. He pulled himself out of the gutter to get him back into this show and make money and do what he's done. So he deserves to do it. But it's like the narrative of the story is what's it going to be like when he is back and healthy? Has he just been, going on his yacht? Has he been drinking and just been hanging out with his family? And we'll get into it with Dustin. Dustin's been the complete opposite. But as the YouTube guys, man, I don't really get into it because I really love the art of the sport and I've trained for so long. And there's so many people that at my level that have trained for so long that agree with me, just to see people out there, disgracing the sport in a way. I mean, if you can make money, make money. I want everybody to make money, but it's just not, it's seeing bad technique, terrible, just everything's terrible about it. I do not give two shits about it, to be honest with you, man. But when it comes to Logan and Jake, I do. I wasn't at first, but I'm becoming more of a fan because they're legit, man. They're putting in the time. They're not just, hiring somebody for 6 months, training every day, and then just fighting some YouTuber, making a quick 20, 50. I don't even know what those guys are making, but so I'm just not into it, man. It's just not my thing, bro. I don't have time. I don't have enough time to watch those guys go in their box, but more power to them, man. If there's a market for it, make money. It was cool to see Chad Ochocinco get in there.
Yeah, bro.
That was dope. He was not too bad either. I like to see the heart from him, man. That was super cool. I was actually excited for that one just because he is a real athlete, man. He is a Hall of Famer, and to see him go in there and just write something off his bucket list, I was really cheering him on, and he did a hell of a job, man. Not gonna lie, he used his length with his jabs and stuff like that. But as the other YouTube fights, like your stepson's been watching, it's just not my thing, just because of the technique wise, and they're like all gelled hair, and we got DJ Khaled out there yelling this freaking. It's like it's like, dude, miss me with bullshit, bro.
That was like 2018, man. Come on.
Nobody was singing with him. I'm like DJ Khaled, you're talking to like 18, 20-year-olds right now. They do not give two fucks, man. What are you talking about, bro? That song came out in like 2010, man. They're like 5. I don't know, dude. They're like 7, 8 years old. So it's kind of a shit show. It's a mockery, and I'm not a fan of that. But seeing like real athletes like Ochocinco do it and stuff like that, it's pretty cool to me, man. Just see him write something off their bucket list, get an opportunity to do it. So, and that's kind of the the Paul brothers. They kind of laid out that platform for people to be doing this. So kudos to them, man. Kudos to them. Yep.
So it seems like I looked it up, by the way. The Paul Mayweather difference was 18 years. And you talked about Floyd Mayweather giving a lot of respect to Logan Paul as as like a serious fighter. From what I've heard is that the younger one, Jake Paul, is actually seriously considering like a career in boxing.
Right.
I don't know if that's something that you've looked into a lot, or I know you've kind of mentioned.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned it the last time we were on here, but when I found out he signed with Showtime Sports, that right there, boom, I knew it. Everybody knew it. That that's real deep into the sport here. That. Okay, he's serious. We kind of knew he was serious, but the Nate Robinson fight, the Ben Askren fight, we didn't see a whole lot. We're like, okay, he's making a ton of money. Maybe this is what he's doing. But the moment he dropped Triller and moved on to Showtime, I was like, Showtime don't play those games, man. Showtime is not Triller. Triller is going to have Justin Bieber performing. They got robots everywhere. They're trying to speak to a younger audience and that's all it was. But when I seen him sign with Showtime, I was like, Showtime don't play these games. They're not going to be throwing them Nate Robinson type guys. They're going to be throwing them legit guys. And that's when I realized he was taking it serious. And then a couple weeks after, boom, Tyrone Woodley fight got booked. And I knew that this kid, and that's the difference between Logan and Jake. And I might have mentioned that before, man, that Logan's he's not that guy. He's already showing us that he's not going to try to become a legit boxer. Where Jake's a legit boxer, man. He understands timing, footwork. He's a hell of an athlete. He's a big kid. He's got a couple inches on Tyrone Woodley. He's got some length on Tyrone. He's in phenomenal shape. So I see Jake taking this serious, but it's what happens after this fight coming up in August 29th in Cleveland, Ohio, right? What goes down that night really shows and paints the narrative moving forward. What Jake Paul's going to do. So, and everybody that hates Jake and loves Jake, here's the time, man. You finally want a legit guy, somebody that can really test and maybe shut this kid's mouth, or maybe Jake's going to prove the world wrong and that he is legit and he is going to move on to the sport and slowly evolve his way into it, because you can't throw him to the dogs, man. 3.5 years, however long he's training, is not enough to be thrown in there with a Earl Spence Jr., the Charlos, those types of guys. It's just not there. But this fight right now with 3 fights, man, I've only fought a couple times, man. I ain't going to fight Tyrone Woodley, man. You got no way. You got me fucked up. It ain't happening. It ain't happening, man. So I can see where Jake's going. I can see where Logan's going. They're kind of creating that path, and they're both making tons of money. So we'll see with this Tyrone fight, man. Tyrone's a multi-world champion in the UFC. He's been boxing, when Jake Paul was on Disney Channel, and Jake even said that. He's admitting, and I think that's a good thing to do, man, is to point out those facts. Like, yeah, man, you've been boxing when I was on Disney Channel. Like, you've been at the best world-class boxing. So now if he does knock him out, it really sets him up, and it really will climb him up. So he's putting himself out there. And did you guys catch any of, the press conference, or do you see anything, on social media or anything they had? I think it was yesterday.
I didn't see anything recently in the last couple of days, no.
Gotcha. So, yeah, they just decided Cleveland, Ohio, which is where Jake and Logan are from. So that's super cool that they're going to be taking it there. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of the crowd and the fans and the people that are where he's from, if they follow him, they support him. Are they, is it going to be a packed house just for Jake Paul? But the press conference is good, man. I mean, Tyrone's saying straight up, man, I'm a dog, and he's training with Floyd Mayweather right now for this fight and Floyd's team. He's sparring with top-level guys that are also getting ready to go into big fights, world title fights. So I love to see it that Tyrone's taking it serious and he's giving it his all, man, because I don't want to see half-assed Tyrone go in there like Ben Askren did and just dig in deeper to the MMA world. So, yeah, the press conference was good. I mean, Tyrone said, he's beat Carlos Condit, Robbie Lawler, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson twice. He's beat all these world-class guys. He's defended his title 5 times. He's a Hall of Famer, been boxing for 20 years or so. But they made a bet. I can't believe this. And Tyrone's very egotistic. He don't take shit from nobody. And he's kind of got that ego where you just do not fuck with him, and that's just who he is. The rain getting you, Jock?
Dude, it's loud right now, bro. I hear it.
Is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the bets they made was if Jake beats Tyrone, Tyrone's got to get a tattoo that says "I love Jake." And vice versa. If Tyrone beats Jake, Jake's got to get a tattoo that says "I love Tyrone." So that's where Tyrone's ego comes in. He's not going to say no to that. He's not going to back down from that. But I think they did try to bet on their purses on just what their show up money was, and Tyrone turned that down. So it kind of makes me wonder, is Tyrone, need the money? Is he looking for something to set him up for the rest of his life? You don't really know, but breaking it down, man, I don't know who to pick for this fight. I would probably lean towards Tyrone just because of the speed, power, his longevity in the sport, all of his training. But Jake is no joke, man. He ain't no joke. He's good as hell, man. So.
All right. Well, the other big thing that's going on right now, we kind of touched on a little bit, is Conor McGregor. So, basically anybody that knows what happened with Conor McGregor, he was in a match this week. I think it was his second matchup with Poirier, right? Third. Okay. So, broke his leg during the match. So now there's a lot of questions going around, is Conor McGregor done? I mean, you kind of touched on the fact that you already think he should be done because he's, he doesn't need the money anymore. He's set up with, with his career earnings and working with business and endorsements and stuff. But, what do you think would be next for Conor McGregor? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but dive into that a little bit more with Conor McGregor.
What's next for Conor? Like I said, I don't see him coming back until 2022, and so that's a lot of time. What happens, his thing is he wants that Dustin Poirier fight, and everybody that's a big Conor McGregor fan has a foot to stand on because he broke that leg, man. They're always going to say, what about the second round, third round? What if, he didn't get actually beat, he didn't get knocked out. So they're always going to paint that narrative, right? So, but what's next for Dustin comes first for me. Once I answer that question, I can kind of look to see, maybe what's next for Conor. So what's next for Dustin is definitely the title fight at 155 pounds versus Charles Oliveira. Okay. So Charles Oliveira has been around for a very long time. He went on like a 5-fight skid or something like that years back and then made a run all the way through, kept improving. And now is the world champion. So with Dustin, that's what's next for him. When are we going to get that? I think Dustin deserves some time off, man. He's a dog. He's got 12 wins at the light heavyweight or the lightweight division. So Conor's got 1 win there, in that division at 155 pounds. Dustin's got 12. So if Dustin goes on to become the champion, which I do see happening, I really do. Some are going to disagree. My boy Jamie Medina's going to go Charlie Olives all day long, and I just don't see it. Dustin's a dog. And the thing about Dustin, he's continuously gotten better. He's never taken time off. He's continuously gotten better. Conor McGregor, has he continuously gotten better? Not in my eyes. Not anywhere close. He has not gotten any better. He's been taking all that time off in between. He's sleeping in the silk sheets. It's hard to get up and pound the pavement every day and have that dog in you. Dustin still got that dog in you. So if Dustin goes on to win the title and then Conor finally gets back and healthy and back into his training camps and doing the things he needs to be doing, he needs to get back to that. I don't see him deserving that title shot against Dustin. I just don't. How do you lose four fights in a row and then think you're going to get a fight against, Dustin Poirier for the title and just jump ahead of the Justin Gaethje and everybody else? So, what's next for Conor? I mean, Conor's always going to have that, man. People are always going to want to watch Conor fight. Conor can make money at any time that he wants. Conor can go fight Manny Pacquiao, make $100 million. Conor can go fight Jake Paul, make $100 million. Conor can come back to the UFC and fight top 5, top 10 guys, make $20 million. It doesn't matter who it is. Like Jake said previously, he can sell the fight. He opens his mouth, man. People are going to watch. So what's for next to him is I don't know. And it's going to be something that we're going to have to look out for and be watching for. But I just don't see. But Dana White. Okay, so let's go with this. Dana White, the UFC president, is all about the money, dog. He is all about the money. And who brings more money?
Yes. Money talks. Money talks, baby.
And who brings more money to the organization than Conor McGregor? Absolutely nobody. No one right now. No one ever has. I don't know if anybody ever will. There's not going to be another Conor McGregor in my eyes. So Dana even said after the fight, yeah, we're going to see a 4th fight. Why would you not? You sell 2 million pay-per-views, you make $100+ million, you pay people 18% of what you make, you're making tons of money. Why would you not? Who gives a shit? Why does he care, right? So I do see that fight happening again, just because Dana wants to make the money. Conor's going to want that fight back. If you guys listen to him after the fight, he said, this is not over, right? He said, this is not over. And Conor gets whatever the fuck he wants. He just does, man. He's earned that right. So, but for Dustin to go win the title and Conor to come back and get an instant fight, there's no fucking way, man. That just can't happen. But Conor, if he goes back and beats a top 10, top 5 guy, which I don't know if he's even in that realm anymore, to be honest with you, then for sure you're going to see that fight. But there's no way he can just jump in front of these top 5 guys that are on huge win streaks, been in the top for a long time. So what's next for Conor is going back home, stop talking about killing people's families and stop talking shit like that.
Stop talking about his wife in the DM when you have a wife. Like, what?
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Like, what are you doing, bro? You got a whole family over there.
I lost a lot of respect for Conor, but I will always watch Conor fight because he is an elite martial artist, man. He does have some of the best stand-up in the world. He is elite, but is he top 10? I don't know. So if I don't know that, how the hell does he deserve to fight for the title again? So we'll see how it all shakes out, man. Conor just needs to get back home, refocus, get that healed up, do what Chris Weidman's doing. 2-3 fights ago, Chris Weidman snapped that leg in half, and Chris Weidman's been on a mission to get back to where he was. Get that healed up, get back into where the contentions he was, and become a world champion again. So as long as Conor follows that mindset and does those types of things, he can do whatever he wants. But yeah, saying those types of things, man, I lost a lot of respect for the guy. And that was my narrative coming into this fight. I was like, last fight, we seen nice Conor. We seen Conor hugging, giving proper 12, taking Dustin's hot sauce, taking pictures, giving money to Dustin's charity, and all this nice guy stuff. So I was curious what Conor's going to show up for this. If it's nice guy Conor again, there's no way. If it's the savage Conor that we all know and we all grown to love, and that's how he's made all of his money, we got a real fight on our hands. But it seemed to me, to be honest with you, it seemed real fake. Conor was trying too hard to be that guy. And even Dustin said, like, come on, man, you're better than that. Like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, your wife's the husband. Like, he's like, what? He's like, and Dustin.
I think that was, though? I think that was just his adrenaline, man. I think that was just his adrenaline. He just broke his leg.
He's trying to he also said that before the fight in the press conference. He's saying stuff about his wife and stuff like that. And I think Conor was trying to light that fire under his stomach that he used to have, man. He used to have that fire that he'll take out anybody in the world. So I just seen it being too fake. He's trying too hard for it. And I think Dustin's grown so much. So they've fought in 3 times. And I think the last time was 2014. Dustin got put to sleep in the first minute or something like that. And back then, that was vintage Conor. That was real Conor. That was making $50,000 to fight, not $25 million to fight. And he really had a point to prove. And Dustin was so much younger, and he lost his cool. He was getting caught up in it. And so many people have. Jose Aldo, Eddie Alvarez, Nate Diaz on the second fight. There's a lot of people that have got caught up in that, and they just get their ass whooped, man. Dustin's grown so much, and that's why Dustin's going to be the champion, and he's going to be dominant for a very long time unless Khabib comes back, which he will not be coming back in my eyes. So because he continues to grow, man, and he knew that was some fake shit. And he knew, like, he's been here before. Dustin's dealt with this before, so he's like, it didn't bother him at all, man. He knew what he had to do is get in there and fight his fight. And so what's next for Conor? He just needs to get back, heal up, get back to the drawing board. I would love to see him just hang it up, to be honest with you, not tarnish that career. Because at the end of the day, you can't take away what Conor's done to the sport, what he's meant to the sport, what he's done. That run, his run through the UFC was the greatest thing I've ever witnessed. It was amazing. It was the best thing ever, man. It was the coolest. It was the emotions, the feelings, and every time Conor fights, that's going to be there, man. It's just there's nothing like a Conor fight night, And so, but if Dustin becomes a champ, I don't foresee Conor coming back and doing that. So maybe he takes some money fights. Maybe he, takes his money and invests it somewhere else, makes another whiskey, gets into other businesses. And I would love to see him kind of step away, because before that foot broke, I told everybody I had to rewatch the fight. I had a few drinks that night. Okay, I had to rewatch it, but I could tell that he's getting put away. Dustin was going to put him away. I 100% knew. You could see it in Conor's face. It got red, like he gets gassed. He was taking shots, but the press conference was weird to me. I did see, that fire in Conor a little bit, but it just seemed fake. And then I was curious, how's Conor going to come out in this fight? Is he going to be any different? And he's a lot like old school Conor at 45, bouncing on his feet a lot, doing the spinning back kicks, doing different, leg kicks, mixing in his boxing and not being so heavy on his legs and focusing on that boxing. So at first, Conor did really good. And then, he said the first one that shoots a bitch, if you win by submission or decision, it doesn't count. You only win if you knock somebody out. And what's he do? He's getting pieced up, and he initiated that clinch. He wanted to close it. If you're getting pieced up, you got 2 options. You either bring that guy in close to you and you find a way to throw knees, slip elbows, or make something happen from there, or you circle out and get the hell out. Conor grabbed him, clinched up with him. Dustin went for the takedown. Conor went for his neck, tried to get the guillotine, got taken down. And for Conor to be down there, you can't focus on everything, in a camp, but I didn't see him really trying to get back up too much. He wasn't, his shoulders were flat on the canvas. You really want to try to get to the side. And when you get to the side, your opponent wants to get you flat back again where you can't do anything. And his back was flat on the ground, and Dustin was laying those big shots. Connor was throwing some elbows from underneath. I did see a little bit more out of Connor, but I just don't see it. I didn't see it going any other way. If that would have made it to the second, Dustin's going to keep chipping away and take you out. So, yeah, man, I don't know what's next for Connor. I hope he, and the stuff he said after the fight, man, it's like, I don't want to see that, man. And Dustin, man, I give Dustin all the respect in the world to take all that. And a guy just broke his leg in a fight with you, and you were whooping the shit out of him, and he has the balls to say that about your family. I don't know how he didn't just walk over there, jump on top of him, and start beating the fuck out of him. A lot of people would have. So respect to him, and that's you see the growth in Dustin. If you guys go back and watch old school Dustin, he was a hothead, but now you see the growth. And what's he say right after that? He's like, man, he's got a beautiful family. I hope he gets home safe to his family, and everybody's healthy, and everybody's great, and they enjoy their life, man. So. Connor, I don't know, the money and everything kind of getting to him and the fame. And so we'll see what's next for him. To be honest with you, I'm not even worried about it. I'm kind of moving on from it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at on that, man.
All right. Well, speaking of moving on, we're going to have you back before the next Jake Paul fight. Is there any other fights that you're looking forward to in the next 3 weeks or so, say, until we see you back in Wisconsin?
Yes, I can't wait to be back, boys. Let's go. So excited, man. I'm so excited. Hey, not for nothing. I'm always down to do anything live. I know everybody's busy, so whatever you guys want to do, if you guys want to market, promote, do something fun, even if it's quick, we can do whatever. So I hope people enjoy the show. I started podcasting with you guys. It's like my third, fourth time on here. So just getting a little better with it more and more. And so I'm balls deep in this stuff, guys. I watch it. I watch everything. So, any questions anybody has, anything creative for you guys, on your end, always let me know, and we can always switch and make it better. But some big fights coming up is the Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moises. That is this weekend. So Islam is a product of Khabib Nurmagomedov, trains with Khabib. He's very much like him. He's on I want to say a 5-fight win streak. He's 19-1. They think he's the next champion. He's so damn good, guys, that nobody wants to fight him. Nobody wants to fight him. He can't get a top 5 guy because nobody wants to fight him, man. He's that damn good at striking. He's that damn good on the ground. And Thiago Moises is a very well-rounded and very good fighter, and he stepped up to the plate. So he's no scrub. That's a great one to watch if you guys are trying to get into it. That kid's my dark horse. I wouldn't really call it a dark horse because I think everybody kind of sees that coming in the future, the next year or two. Islam's going to be the champion. So we'll see how that all shakes out. That's a great fight this weekend. And then coming up, we have a big one, man. This one got postponed. So this is 2 weeks from this. It's not this Saturday, next week. So 2 weeks away, we have TJ Dillashaw and Corey Sandhagen. They are going to be fighting at 135 pounds. This is a big fight, man. Corey is a really well-rounded kid. He should honestly be fighting for the title, but it's Dane always says, let's see how it shakes out, because the fight game's so unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen, tomorrow or next week, who's going to fall out, who's going to get hurt, who's going to get sick, stuff like that. And so TJ Dillashaw was the champion for a very, very long time. He got suspended for a couple years for the PEDs and has come back and looking to revenge himself against Corey Sandhagen, who just had a knockout of the year flying knee against Frankie Edgar, who's an absolute legend, Hall of Famer. So they used to train together. They got bad blood. Corey's a lot younger, and when Corey was coming up, he got the best of TJ in that gym. So it'll be interesting to see, how this shakes out. These guys are young. They're smaller guys, so you're going to see them flying around a lot. They got some of the best striking and technique in the UFC. So that one is going to be a banger. That's one you guys really, if you guys are interested really on watching one, I would tell you to watch that one. And then we got Lewis versus Gane, Cyril Gane. So Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane will go at it. I think I want to say it's early August for the interim light heavyweight or heavyweight title. So they put Francis on the back burner. There's some things going on with that some people aren't liking, but Francis is kind of taking a step back right now, and so these two are going to fight it out for the interim title. Cyril Gahn is also one of my dark horses to become the heavyweight champion. He's got better footwork than everybody else. He's got better timing than everybody else. He's got great technique. He doesn't have the knockout power like your big boy Francis Ngannou has, but sometimes it doesn't matter. If you're able to have that good technique and footwork to escape those shots and land counter shots, you can take somebody out. So that's a big fight. Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. Everybody knows Derek Lewis. Got the best Instagram page. If you want to follow somebody, follow his Instagram page. Knockout artist, big dude, doesn't move a whole lot, but if you come in, you get caught, going to sleep. Everybody's gone to sleep with that guy. So those are 3 big ones coming up, guys. And then we got some stuff coming later, in August with the Jake Paul fight. That'll be really interesting to see. So we'll talk more about that next time we get on here, boys.
All right. Apparently it was my turn to get kicked out. But I'm back. All right, Curtis, one more thing before we let you go. We got to get a score prediction for the Bucs game tonight.
Ooh. Oh. All right. First of all, I see Devin Booker coming back. You guys know that's going to happen. Devin Booker is going to come back, and he's going to be ready to play, man. He's going to go for it, and I see a little more energized team this time. I think the Bucs will win by 5. I think it'll be like 118-113. Giannis is going to close out as long as Giannis gets a little bit more help from his surrounding. Drew did shoot decent. I want to see a little bit more out of Middleton. The other pieces of the puzzle, like Connington, that was awesome, dude. Bang! Jake, do it.
You Connington for 3. Bang!
Bang!
Dude.
So I see the Bucs, man. That home crowd, that advantage, man. The Bucs fans are crazy, man. We had a couple friends of all of ours there, and it was super cool to see the inside. So I see them winning by 5. But I do see Devin Booker coming back strong, so let's see what they do. Devin's caused a lot of problems for him in the first couple games. So I say Bucs win it in 7. Bucs in 7.
All right, man.
Going against the narrative, but fuck it.
Hey, man, live your own life. Go Bucs,
all right, boys.
baby.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks
for being on, buddy.
All right, see you, bud.
See you guys soon. All right, so we're going to talk about games 2 and 3, and then we're going to give kind of a preview for what we want to see the Bucs do moving forward in games 4 through 6. So let's start with game 2. Jake, let's talk about game 2. What went wrong? What looked good? Let's get your feelings on game 2.
First things first, I just want to give a big shout out to my brother. Getting all of information from a month, into one segment is incredibly hard. I mean, we find it hard to get a week's worth of stuff, and to really hammer home the important points that we want to hammer home. So it's tough, man. So big ups to my brother. That was awesome. You did great, man. Now let's talk some Bucs basketball because I'm excited. Game 2, man. That was a stressful game, because we had a Giannis going crazy, 42 points. He tied that record, with most points or whatever or 20 points in the finals quarter. In the third quarter, he went nuts.
Yep.
What went well for us, other than Giannis, honestly, was really not a lot. I mean, the rebounding was pretty close. Assists, they beat us by a couple. We both shot a close percentage. They hit 23s to our 9 threes. So that's not good right there. We were 9 of 31. They were 20 of 40. Yep. You shoot 43s, you make 20 of them, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. I'll tell you that right now. And 16 of those 23s for Phoenix came from 4 guys. That's CP3, Booker, Bridges, who had the game of his freaking life. And
X Factor.
And Crowder. And Crowder, who just had the game of his life the other day. He was 6 or 7 on threes the other day.
Yep.
Things that went well. I really can't find a lot. I wanted to give a shout out to my man, Drew Holiday. He had 2 of the craziest blocks I've ever seen in my life. One, I did not think he was getting back on Devin Booker. He blocked him with the left hand. And then 2, he blocks a 7-footer in DeAndre Ayton straight up for a jump ball. That's domination. It was really sad that nobody got back to help him on that one on Booker because that was a great block. Ayton ended up cleaning it up. But not a lot went right for us, man. Between Giannis, Middleton, and Drew Holiday, we were 3 of 14 on threes. And, the basketball now, it's a lot of, 3-point shooting really evens things out, I mean, Giannis can dominate down low as much as he wants, but he's not getting help with at least, adequate 3-point shooting or, spread the floor. It really doesn't matter. And I just wanted to point one more thing out before you did, because I had this written down and I have it circled 3 times. 4 of our 9 3-pointers came from one player, Pat Connaughton. We beat him in bench points, but CP3 had 23, Booker had 31, and like I said about Bridges, he had 27. So I mean, for us to close the gap, we only lost by 10. So we were down by 6 multiple times, and it just felt like a hump game. Like we never got over the hump, It's just, if we would have, I told you this before, if we would have had one person, a Brooke, a Chris, a Drew, it doesn't matter. If we would have had one other star on our team step up with Giannis, and give a little bit of scoring for a couple of minutes, I really think we could have stole that game. So that's why when I talk about Game 5, you hear what I have to say. But I didn't see a lot of things that went right for us other than Giannis, to be completely honest with you. So for us losing by 10, I'm really not that stressed out.
Yeah, and the thing with that is, Phoenix did what they were supposed to do. They won both of their home games. They did what they were supposed to do. We wanted to steal a road game, but, we started down 0-2 against the Nets. So it's not, it's not a nail in the coffin by any means.
Yes.
For things that went well, it was pretty much just Giannis and Pat, which when we talk about Game 3 and going forward, I'm gonna throw some stuff out there because people still don't give Pat Connaughton the respect that he deserves. But I also had it written down, Phoenix plus 33 points on 3-pointers. So even just an average 3-point shooting night from the Bucks, and it's a much closer game.
Yes.
If not a win. Like I said, you mentioned it already. My X factor, Mikal Bridges, 27 points and 7 rebounds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention him again when we talk about Game 3, but Game 2, he was a big part of their success.
Yep.
As far as Devin Booker, you mentioned the 23 pointers made by Phoenix. Devin Booker made 7 of them. So he made over a third of their total 3-pointers. To me, especially in the second half, between Chris Paul and Devin Booker, basically they got wide open shots almost every possession just by running pick and rolls. And when we talked about Game 1, we talked about all the switching. There's way too much switching. So then when we come to Game 2 and there's adjustments being made, there's miscommunication.
Yes.
Of if we're going to switch or if we're not. And that is what led to some wide open shots for Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And they didn't miss because they're playing at home. They're feeling good. They're up the entire game basically. And, just getting those open shots, wide open shots in rhythm, guys in the NBA just aren't going to miss a lot of those shots. So that led to Booker being 7 for 12 on 3-pointers. Just having those wide open looks. So that miscommunication on the defensive end, to me was kind of a carryover from Game 1 when they were switching everything. And then in Game 2, they kind of switched stuff up. And we'll talk about it in Game 3. They kind of cleaned that up. So the one thing I wanted to point out, this is it's a nitpicky thing, but it's something that I think is worth mentioning. So Phoenix had this play that everybody's talking about. ESPN is like, look at this fantastic ball movement. Every single player touched the ball. I don't know if you saw it or not. DeAndre Ayton on that play spent 9 seconds in the paint.
Yes.
9 seconds. You can go watch the video. DeAndre Ayton stood in the paint the entire time that ball was swinging around and people are doing pump fakes. And, Devin Booker goes up for a shot and then passes out of it really quick. DeAndre Ayton was standing in the paint that entire time.
The worst part about
everybody's watching the ball, so he didn't get called for it.
He's the one that ended up scoring.
He did.
That's
he got
the
worst
part of that whole play. That's what I thought the entire when I saw him standing there, and I was like, he's the one that scores. Wow, that's crazy.
After 9 seconds. That bothered me. Obviously, those 2 points didn't make the game, but he got an and one on that play. So not only did they end up getting 3 points, but they got a lot of momentum from that.
Well, think how mentally demoralizing that is. You're running around chasing people off the line, running. Everybody's trying their best, and all of a sudden they get an and one. Like, man.
And you've played basketball. I've played basketball. We watch basketball. Like watch Bobby Portis get an and one, and just watch his energy go from like an 8 out of 10 to like a 20 out of 10. Like getting an and one is seriously one of the most like physically energizing things that you can do in a basketball game.
Well, Bobby does this thing. I don't remember who pointed it out, but like kind of like a hockey thing where he gets the crowd into it when he just gets a regular foul. Like he'll just grab an offensive rebound and get a foul, and then he'll just start screaming. He did it last game. Yep. He'll just start screaming, and then you get 20,000 people, and all of a sudden everybody in your team's energized.
I love
like,
Bobby.
Oh yeah,
Portis.
I'm not that tired.
I love Bobby Portis.
Oh man, dude, they have shirts. I couldn't buy one because they all sold out. But they have Bobby. They have those shirts on buckshop.com. I go on there all the time. I'm so sad I didn't get one of those, dude.
All right, so let's move forward. Let's talk about game 3. A lot more went well for this one. I know, like we talk about it all the time. You and I text during the games. The first quarter was a little, it was kind of iffy. DeAndre Ayton was getting way too many mismatches. Like the Bucks kept switching on screens, and it left guys like Drew, Tucker. He can kind of handle Ayton. I wouldn't, love for that to be the case. Pat Connaughton, just smaller guys being on DeAndre Ayton in that first quarter. Yeah. And DeAndre Ayton had 10 points in the first quarter. That's,
you dominated.
That's a recipe for success if you're Phoenix. That's a recipe for disaster if you're Milwaukee. So I texted you at the end of the first quarter. I'm like, are the Bucks going to play any defense in this series? And play defense they did. The second quarter, they doubled up the Suns 35-17 and took a big lead into the second quarter. So that second quarter for me was really where the Bucks took over that game. Phoenix closed it down to 4 points a couple times. Close it down to 6 points, and then at the end of the third quarter, with the lead down to 6, Bucks rattled off 16 straight points. I want to know your feelings. Bro. I know, dude. I love Giannis so much. And I texted you too that Drew Holiday picked the perfect time to show up.
Yes.
So I want to know. Let's get into your thoughts from Game 3. I have a lot, so let's get your thoughts from Game 3.
I have a little bit too. I mean, we'll bounce off each other here for a little bit. First of all, for Portis, I brought bringing the energy. Didn't even write a single stat. Didn't write a single shot attempt. None of that. I just wrote he brings the energy. First thing I like to say before I get into my speech is Budenholzer better learn what the word matchup means, because clearly from sometimes he doesn't understand what putting matchups on the floor means. You can have Giannis and Portis on the floor at the same time. That's tough to guard. Portis is a little quicker than Lopez. So if he pump fakes, he can drive to the rim and get that little floater that he does all the time. I actually like Portis and Giannis together better than I like Lopez and Giannis, to be honest with you. I mean, you're
getting into my keys. Don't steal my keys, man.
Sorry. So I got 3 plays that happened in the second quarter that I think really, really ignited this game. One was a Chris Middleton 3 that put us down 36-35. That was a huge 3-pointer in my opinion, because the Bucks just missed, I remember, I think it was like 2 or 3 shots in a row, and Phoenix was being kind of sloppy with it. And right there, that was kind of the jolt for the team to be like, okay, yeah, we're here. We're here. Giannis hits a free throw. We were still down by 1. The next play that happened was Brook Lopez shot a 3. He airballed it. Tucker grabs it, throws it to Giannis. Giannis freaking, oh my God, godly thunder throws it down with 2 hands, and just the place erupts. And then the third play was probably my favorite play of the game, probably everybody's favorite play of the game.
Probably the one that Wilkins just commented.
Blocking Booker. He goes behind the back, gets the ball back, throws it to Portis for the dunk. Oh my God, was that beautiful. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, I swear to God. Those are the 3 plays to me that really, really ignited this team. Got the crowd into it. They turn defense into offense, which I preach all the time. That's the number one thing that I like the Bucks to do. They are the best team in the league when they turn defense to offense.
Transition.
Because we are unstoppable. Yeah, we are unstoppable in the fast break. Chris Middleton pulling up, Drew Holiday pulling up. They can get to the rim. Giannis is the most unguardable player in the league. Going downhill. How are you going to stop that? He's athletic and long. But yeah, anyways, Giannis, another 40-point performance.
I got some stuff about Giannis.
I'm going to let you say all the pieces, man. I know you prepared for the Giannis stuff. Drew Holiday, like you said, he got hot from 3. And I'm going to leave Bridges for you as well because I have that written down as well. One thing I wanted to say, Devin Booker obviously didn't have a great game. He was 1 for 7 from 3. His 1 3-point make came in the first quarter. And Chris Paul was 1 for 4 on threes, and his 1 3 came in the fourth quarter. So they are taking quarters in between each other with making a 3-point attempt. That is a recipe for our success. And Chris Paul can pretty much get any mid-range shot he wants at any time. He really can.
He makes all of them.
Yeah, he's got great touch. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Giannis was pretty good from the free throw line. He should be, man. He shoots so many of them. You think he would improve at some point? I'm just saying. He's just got to bend his knees, man, and follow through. Sometimes his timing is just off, and he'll straighten his legs and then he'll shoot it. And then sometimes he waits too long, I think, and his legs get a little fatigued. He just got a one motion. Put that baby up there, you're good to go. That's why I don't like how many dribbles he does. 3 dribbles, spin that sucker, take your deep breath if you need to, follow through. That's all you need, buddy. You're doing too much. You don't need I love my mom, I love my son, I love my wife. Yeah, we get it. You love your family. We love that about you. But just go up there, 3 dribbles, spin the ball, and shoot it. That's all you need. Anyways, Chris Middleton, honestly, he played a pretty decent game. I'm not mad at Middleton at all for game 3. I think he played a very, very good.
He had a really good all-around game.
Yes. He was good on defense. He passed the ball well. He didn't shoot it the greatest, which gives me a lot of 50%. Hope. Yeah, I mean, he still shot it okay. I mean, he was 6 of 14. So, I mean, that's just below
just 50. Under 50. Yep.
Yeah, that's just below. But he didn't have a bad game. 18, 7, and 6. He made an impact on the game. And like I said, he was great on defense. So, I mean, I'm waiting for that Chris Middleton blow up. It's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. Everybody keeps sharing that picture all over social media of the Chris Middleton cycle.
Yeah.
And pretty soon he's going to turn into prime MJ, and the Suns aren't going to know what the hell to do. But anyways, I'm going to leave the floor for you because I know you got a lot of good stuff, and I'm very, very excited for this.
All right. So first, on your point of Chris Paul and Devin Booker, I mentioned it in game 2. The miscommunications on defense, that went away. Drew Holiday stuck with Chris Paul, and we threw a couple different guys at Booker. But the thing with Booker was he was getting all of his shots were contested. He wasn't getting the wide open looks that he was getting in games 1 and 2. So he was getting contested jumpers. I mentioned I was going to get back to my X factor, Mikal Bridges. 4 points. 4. That's a minus 23 points from what he had the last game. You mentioned already Jay Crowder was 6 of 7 on threes, so that, kind of picks up some slack there. But one thing I did want to bring up, that dunk on PJ Tucker, totally impressive, good for you. But I would have liked to see a no call on that play, personally. It's one of those things where the guy slides in to try to get the charge. He doesn't get it. He absorbed the contact and kind of bounced off. It wasn't quite a flop, but it also wasn't enough, I think, for a charge. I don't want to see the player get a charge for that to be something to be discouraged, because that type of play, it's exciting for the game. We are Bucks fans, but that type of play is exciting for basketball. But I also don't think that really should have been a blocking foul just because Tucker was outside the restricted circle. He was there. He took the contact. So me personally, I would have liked to see a no call on that play. That's just my personal feelings on it. Like I said, I explained it how I explained it, but Pat Connaughton. No, I'm gonna save Connaughton for the preview. Actually, I was gonna lay out Pat Connaughton, but I'm gonna save him for the preview.
Okay, bud.
One thing that happened, this really bugged me. It grinds my gears that this is something that comes up. Phoenix Suns coach Monty Williams complaining about the number of free throws that Giannis shot.
Bruh, I try to avoid this.
If you have kids, put the earmuffs on right now. Get the fuck out of here with that. You shot 9 more free throws in the Bucks did in game 1, and Giannis is literally the modern embodiment of the hack-a-shack. You are fouling Giannis because he's shooting 54% on the free throws in playoffs.
Dude,
don't give me that he's getting to the line because he's getting calls. He's getting to the line because you are fouling him. Yeah, and you're giving me that excuse when Devin Booker gets looked at by Bryn Forbes in game 1 and gets a foul call, and you're complaining about the foul calls that Giannis gets? Get out of here with that. You're mad because he made him, not because he got them.
Oh, 100%. That's the you're mad you got caught, not that you were doing it. Exactly, 100%. 100%. Dude, they literally brought this bum off the bench to foul Giannis. I don't even know who that guy is. Was it Niang or whatever? I don't even know who he is. They brought some random dude off the bench. Dude, he wasn't going to play in the regular game. You brought him in to foul Giannis.
You can find pictures from game 3 where Giannis has like 4 dudes like trying to foul him at once.
Dude,
he's getting fouled because you don't want him to get and ones because he finishes through contact because he's not a great free throw shooter. He has bouts. Phoenix knows that. Phoenix knows that he has games where he can shoot well at the free throw line. He had 47 on Phoenix in January, and he was 20 out of 21 on free throws. So like I said, don't give me that it's an unbalanced free throw advantage. You know you're fouling him a lot. And you're mad because he made him, not because he took them.
Did you hear what Giannis's response was to that?
Yeah, he's like, you can't be, I get fouled, I draw a lot of contact, I don't want to hurt my pretty face.
Yeah, he said they're making my pretty face ugly. I thought that was very good.
So don't complain about the free throws when fouling Giannis is part of your strategy. You're not mad that he took them, you're mad that he made them. So that's that. Now, what I saw that really encouraged me in this game, and this is something I want to see going forward, is you mentioned already that we talked about Chris Middleton had a good all-around game.
Yep.
And that to me, with the way that Budenholzer used the lineup and the rotations and stuff, is that it showed a really good balance of being a Giannis-led team while also playing team basketball. And that to me really stood out in the third quarter where everybody was touching the ball. Giannis was still dominating, and Drew Holiday had 12 points in that third quarter. He rained a bunch of threes. Pat Connaughton made a 3 right before the end of the third quarter. Bobby Portis is doing his thing. Middleton still found a way to score 18 points. And like we said, just under 50% on field goals. Finally got to the free throw line in this game. So Middleton, just operating in the space that he had. He didn't take 25 shots, so that's, good or bad depending on how he's shooting. But just the balance that we saw in games 5 and 6 when Giannis wasn't playing, and then moving into this series where Giannis is back now. So now everybody has to readjust after playing 2 games without him on the fly, in a series where you have to win 4 games to advance, 4 games to win the championship.
Yeah.
So that's where I get to this thought that if Giannis had come back in, say, let's say Giannis was coming back tonight, 2 weeks after his original injury, and the Bucks were down, say, leave it at 2-1. And now they have to make this adjustment down a game instead of to start this series off. I think actually the timing that Giannis came back works in the Bucks' favor because they had those 2 road games that Phoenix was expected to win anyways to get recalibrated, in their game plan with Giannis.
Yes.
That's something that's completely just a thought in my mind, but I really, really think that that's a factor. So that's something that encouraged me, was that they were all playing together while still playing through Giannis. I have a lot of Giannis stats to drop and some really interesting stuff, but one last thing I want to say before I get into that is the Bucks are doing better not turning the ball over. And that's something, the free throws, the turnovers, those are like the 2 biggest things that I've been highlighting all playoffs and basically all of 2021 for the Bucks. So less turnovers. Now, I asked you to remind me of a Nick Wright video that I watched on Instagram this morning, because there's a lot of good stuff that he mentioned in there about Giannis. So Giannis would be the 3rd youngest player to accumulate 2 MVPs and a championship, if the Bucks can finish this out. Now, Giannis's last 2 games have added up to 85 points. For players to score 85 points, have 20 rebounds and 10 assists in back-to-back games, There's only one player that's done it ever, and it's Giannis. That's crazy to me that he's in his third finals game and already doing things in the finals that nobody has done.
That's greatness, man. That's what greats. That's what the greats do.
This is one of those things where 30 years from now we look back and we're like, damn, that was real history that we were watching. So I'm really, really enjoying watching the Bucks win, but like, you got to kind of take a step back and be like we're witnessing history too.
Yeah.
So that's something that was really cool. Giannis in his back-to-back 40-point games in the last 15 years, if you take LeBron James out of 40-point games in the last 15 years, there have only been 7 40-point games in the finals in the last 15 years. That's crazy. Giannis has 2 this year.
Yeah.
So Giannis is he's absolutely dominating. There's really no other way to say it. He's just absolutely dominating. So I want to see more of that from Giannis. Like I said, he'd be only the 12th player to have multiple MVPs and a championship in NBA history, and he'd be the 3rd youngest to ever do it. So we're going to keep an eye on that, obviously, as we watch this series unfold. But let's move into some preview, starting with tonight. And then, Game 5 is on Saturday. Game 6 would be next Tuesday. So we'll see how things are going with the series. We might have to jump in and do a live just about the Bucks. But let's talk about moving forward. What do the Bucks need to do to keep winning games?
So tonight, man, the others, I think tonight they really are going to do a hack-a-shack. Giannis has to keep going at Ayton because once Ayton went out, it was cookies.
Everything the Bucks wanted in the paint.
Yeah, and I really hope that Phoenix keeps playing a zone because the Bucks are absolutely destroying that zone. With Giannis in the middle right there, he can make the decision to pass or to literally just be like, you're really small, so I'm going to score on you. I mean,
PJ Tucker and Pat Connaughton are doing really well cutting in that situation.
Yes, they are. PJ Tucker's doing a better job of finishing because he was missing some of those layups, but he's finishing them now, and that's big. If he could finish that, then they have to think about it. They might play him a little half. He can get those open threes. All he has to do is hit a couple corner threes, then it's over.
Dude, everybody on the Bucks can score. If you all of a sudden look at the box score and Giannis has 40 and Middleton and Holiday both have 20 and Bobby Portis has 15, and then you look at the box score and it's like, damn, PJ Tucker had 10 points. Like, he doesn't need to score 20 points, but if he can throw, just 10 points out there, like, that's a big deal when most of these games are being decided by 10 points or less.
Yes, 10 points from him feels like 20, in my opinion. What else was I going to say? They have to keep dominating the boards. They really did a really, really good job in it last game. I like when the Bucks are more physical and they push up on their defender. I really like that. The Bucks are better as the aggressor. You never want to be on your heels. In sports, any sport you play, you never want to feel like you're being pushed back. Because then when you try to push forward, you might be clumsy, you might not be thinking, you might be like, you just get in your head, and then it's over after that. So I like when the Bucks are the aggressors from the tip, and that's why, when I was giving my keys, I really wanted Chris to be, aggressive. But, when I said before, I thought Chris played well. If he can play this
aggressive, he was aggressive passing the ball. I mean, it's not a flashy, that he doesn't drop 30 points, but 7 assists and limited turnovers is still very helpful, 100%. Impactful.
So if he can do this and give me 20, 25 points, then the Bucks are going to coast to this title, to be completely honest with you. When I watched game 2 and I was watching Giannis get literally whatever he wanted. Did you see that tweet that somebody remade, by the way? Did you see that meme? Okay, so there's a tweet out there from Giannis a long time ago where he says, I tasted for the first time.
Yep. Jay Crowder, single coverage defense.
Yes. There's not a human being on the Suns that can guard Giannis. And we talked about this a lot, man.
Yep.
Nobody's guarding Giannis one-on-one. Giannis is a bad dude, and he added to the bag this year, that little turnaround fade post. I mean, that's beastie, man. That's a nice move. if he can hit a couple of those, 1, 2, 3 of those, then it's over. He just Euro steps around everybody. Everybody else is too small. So Giannis keeps dominating, and he keeps dominating, and we have one other person, add to him, and we got so many people. Like everybody, like you said, everybody in the Bucks can score, and we got, we defend with a purpose, and we have one other person score. We're gonna go crazy, man. That's really how I feel. I think the Bucks. The game that I really am, the only game I'm worried about is obviously the one on the road. I'm gonna be completely honest. For some reason, I have this feeling that's the game that Chris Middleton's just gonna go bonkers in. I really feel like that. Like I feel like he's just about to go out there, go like 7 of 10 from 3, and drop like 38 points, and just go crazy. And everybody's gonna be like, "What the hell just happened?" So, to me, I guess. Play the same game, man. They got to keep Bobby in the rotation, though. Bud's got to keep Bobby in the rotation. 100%.
Get out of my head.
I'm sorry, man. He's got it. It's just that's basic knowledge, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, if Brook Lopez is going crazy, you don't have to take him out. But Bobby Portis was playing great, and plus he always brings that energy, especially at home. Bobby has to play 20 minutes at home. He has to.
So that plays perfectly into multiple, actually pretty much all of my keys is stuff you've covered already. But what you're getting feeds into what I want to say is that likely to see more of Giannis at the 5 with Bobby Portis in than Giannis at the 4 with Brook Lopez in. And with that comes something that needs to be an issue that the Bucks force right out of the gate is to get DeAndre Ayton in foul trouble.
Yes.
That is a huge thing. And DeAndre Ayton is a crutch that the Suns lean on offense and defense.
Yeah.
So if the Suns are a 3-legged chair, you kick out one of that legs and they're gonna fall. The Bucks were, good enough on defense that they kicked out 2 of the legs in Game 3, and Booker played poorly, and DeAndre Ayton was in foul trouble. What that does is that gets Phoenix into a situation where they have nobody that can even handle Giannis. DeAndre Ayton can, at least like rebuff him when he's backing down. Like Giannis has trouble posting up on DeAndre Ayton. He can pull him away from the basket and get past him. And he does the thing where he does it mostly on the left side of the court where he drives with his left hand and he gets inside of Ayton and he finishes with a layup. But, just backing him down, DeAndre Ayton is a big, strong guy. So it's harder for Giannis to do that, and that's where he kind of works in his post fade. But if they get DeAndre Ayton in foul trouble, not only does that make it easy for Giannis to dominate, but that makes it easier for Bobby Portis to dominate. And it also doesn't get into a situation where Giannis is used so often as a weak side defender so that he can rotate, recover, he can do everything on defense. What that does is that gets Bobby Portis in a situation where he would have to guard DeAndre Ayton, and that doesn't work. People like Bobby Portis, he plays all energy, but he's not a great defender. Brook Lopez is a very good defender.
Yes.
But, I mean, in a situation versus, Bobby Portis' defense and DeAndre Ayton's offense, especially when there's a lot of screening going on, like DeAndre Ayton has the upper hand there. Like that's just, honestly, it's a fact. I mean, It's not any slight at Bobby Portis because he's fantastic. But getting DeAndre Ayton in foul trouble where he has to go sit for a 6-minute stretch and then the Bucks can go on a huge run while also limiting Phoenix's scoring, that's a big deal. Phoenix can't run their pick and roll nearly as effectively without DeAndre Ayton because he's really good at finishing around the rim. He's really good at rolling. He's really good at working with Chris Paul and Devin Booker on that pick and roll, and he's the anchor of their defense.
Dude, he is a legit center. Legit center.
He really is.
Is a center. Like he's not a stretch the floor kind of guy. He can hit that little midi every once in a while, but he is a real center. Rebound the ball, protect the rim. On offense, he's a great screener, great roller. He's a real center. And Chris Paul is a real point guard. Like they got a real player. Like Booker's a legit what you think of shooting guard.
He's a real, yep.
Yeah, those guys are all what their position is supposed to be, which is weird nowadays. You know what I mean? Because we have so many players that are like, oh, this guy's really a shooting guard, but he's playing power forward. Like what?
Right. Yeah, the Bucks have some weird rotations out there once in a while, but the situation that I'm looking for the most is to see Giannis at the 5. See Giannis at the 5 and Bobby Portis in. Brad, my coworker, just said, my opinion, shutting down Paul and Booker is the number one factor to win. Example of games 1 and 2. So honestly, I think just the defensive game plan changing helps that be a reality, especially with all the switching and stuff like that. If the Bucks are communicating better and they're not switching on those screens so much and they're just having true matchups, I think that favors the Bucks. Devin Booker is great on offense, but having Drew on Chris Paul is really, really what made a big difference in Game 3. And using Frank Kaminsky in a pick and roll is not the same as using DeAndre Ayton in a pick and roll. So for me, getting DeAndre Ayton out of the game with foul trouble is really my number one thing, because it feeds into the rest of the players' games, especially Chris Paul. Because Chris Paul, he's a really, really, really great point guard, but he's not a one-on-one player. He's all those mid-range shots that he's getting and he's knocking down, those are coming off of pick and rolls.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to stop Paul, because he's running that high pick and roll, and like I said, he can get that midi whenever he wants, dude.
And then, like I said, DeAndre Ayton, he's their anchor on offense and defense.
Yeah.
So getting DeAndre Ayton into foul trouble is my number one thing, because not only does that allow, it hurts Chris Paul because he can't run the pick and roll as much, but that also makes scoring in the paint for the Bucks so much easier when Jay Crowder and Frank Kaminsky are the only guys down there you have to try to score past. And I love both of them because they both played college in Wisconsin, but neither of them are stopping Giannis, Lopez, or Portis from scoring in the paint.
Yeah, or Drew Holiday, shit.
or Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday's great down there. He's amazing down in the paint. I would like to say screw Jay Crowder. Do not like Jay Crowder. He's always been a Bucks killer, dude. Always been a Bucks killer. And he went to Marquette, so but love Frank, dude. Player of the year, dude. Badgers should have won that title. We're not going to go there because that was a sad day for Wisconsin fans.
Yeah,
we should have been national champs.
I love Jay Crowder and I love Frank Kaminsky, just not in this series.
I agree.
Last thing I want to say about the Bucks: put some respect on Pat Connaughton. Seriously, we've been saying it for a long time. Like, put some respect on Pat Connaughton. Not only has he stepped up in the absence of Dante DiVincenzo, but he's so underrated as a shooter. It drives me nuts. People are calling for Bryn Forbes. Where's Bryn Forbes? Like, yes, if he shows up, that's fantastic. It happened in Game 2 in Miami. It hasn't really happened since then. Pat Connaughton's a good shooter. So I added up his stats from games 1 through 3. He's 11 for 21 on field goals. He's 8 for 17 on threes.
It's pretty damn good.
Damn near 30%. Put some respect on Pat Connaughton. Not only is he shooting well, he's a all effort defender. He gives everything he's got. He's not the best one-on-one defender, but he is all effort. He's actually a really solid rebounder for a shooting guard, small forward type player. And he's just all effort. All effort.
He's a great rebounder for a 6'4" white guy. I'll just say that.
So that's my last thing, is put some respect on Pat Connaughton, because he means a lot. Is he overpaid because he makes $5 million a year? No. We're seeing it now with Dante being out. Dude, Pat Connaughton's a huge part of this. He really is.
He's the first player off the bench for us, and he's played great. He's one of the people that allows us to run that little bit of switching defense. I'm okay with switching on defense, but just not as much as they were.
Right.
Only do it when it needs to be done.
Right.
Yeah, he did. We talked about that, Brad.
Yep.
For 3, bang! That was awesome.
Yeah, that capped off the third quarter where they scored 16 straight to end that quarter. That three-pointer that he made with less than 2 seconds left. That's a backbreaker for Phoenix to let the Bucks score.
When he was sitting down Booker and they went to a 2-point guard set, I was like, this shit's over, dude.
So, you got anything else Bucks related before we talk a little bit about the Brewers?
I think we should both give a score prediction for tonight. Let's give a
I
score prediction
I
and a
thought I
Giannis
told you
prediction.
today.
Since Giannis has been going crazy, let's give both. You want me to go first?
Go for it.
Giannis is going for 40 again. Okay, I'm gonna say that right now. They do not have any way to stop this man, and there's been very few athletes who I've seen who are as motivated, as self-motivated as Giannis. To be completely honest with you, I mean, Kobe Bryant comes to mind. Tom Brady, great mental toughness, always motivated. I mean, there's been few and far between in my life who I've seen that are more motivated. I mean, Russell Westbrook's a pretty motivated guy. He's just also a train wreck at the same time, so I'm not even going to put him on the list.
You could put Damian Lillard in there, but
Damian Lillard, he's pretty self-motivated, but he's also kind of a chill guy. I don't really think of him as he's a killer, but he's not a killer, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
right.
Like when you look at Damian Lillard,
he hasn't taken that next step yet.
Yeah. Giannis is going for 40 again. I think he's going to be inching towards that record, Michael Jordan record of straight 40-point games in the finals. And I think the Bucks are going to score 125 points, and I think the Suns are going to score 105 points. I think we're going to smack the shit out of them tonight. I really feel that way. I think the Suns are kind of like, yeah, we're going to come to play. It's going to be a little bit in the first half, here and there. And then I think I'm expecting a better game from Middleton. I think Middleton's going to go for 25 tonight. I think Middleton's going to have a bounce back game, 5 threes for him. That's my over-under for him. Drew Holiday will do his thing on defense, and I expect Bobby to have a big role again. I really think we're going to smack the hell out of him tonight.
I'm looking forward to more Bobby Portis too. Like I said, I think it's going to be a lot more Giannis at the 5 with Bobby Portis in there, because I think that gives them a little more energy. Not that Brook Lopez isn't an energetic guy. He takes up space and he operates. He's not high energy. He's like an operator guy. For me, I did also think the Suns were going to score 105 points, but I was going to say the Bucks 120. So I was going to say 120, 105. And Giannis, I think he's going to be in that 35 to 40 point range again. And it's easy for us to say that because he's going to shoot a lot of free throws again. He's going to.
They're going to hammer the hell out of him.
Like I said, Phoenix's strategy is to foul Giannis. That wasn't an accident that he shot 17 free throws.
No.
Like I said, Monty Williams was mad because he made 13 of them. So Giannis is going to shoot a lot of free throws again. Because he's going to press the issue. He's going to be aggressive. He's been aggressive in back-to-back games. And you take away game 1 because that was his first game back. So that's his first game, feeling it out. He still had 20 and 17 in game 1.
17 rebounds on a freaking half a leg. Giannis is the man, bro. Love that guy. Holy shit.
So that's why I had to wear my Giannis jersey today, because I'm absolutely loving Giannis.
You know what I did, bro. All my Bucks jerseys except like 3 are Giannis, bro. That's the man.
I gotta go this way.
Let's go.
So I'm seeing 35 to 40 out of Giannis again. Tyler asking, did you see Torrey Smith's comment? Did you see it?
No, I did. Oh yeah, I did. Torrey
Smith, former NFL wide receiver, said about Giannis that he's a model for athletes because he doesn't allow things to rattle him. Like he said, like you airball a free throw, the very next play he's going at it again. He doesn't let stuff get to him. So I completely agree. Thanks for bringing that up, Tyler. It was awesome. I mean, Giannis he's great, and like Jake said, he's very self-motivated, and he wants to win a championship.
Before we move on, dude, I'm gonna talk about this because this shit's actually kind of pissing me off. You might want to put those earmuffs back on your kids. Why the hell is Giannis not considered a top 3 player in this league? Every time I bring up a question, there's a Dr. Pepper rep I talk to. Shout out to you if you're watching, my man. How is Giannis not considered top 3? This man is
somebody said Luka the other day.
It's because he doesn't have a jump shot. The one thing he doesn't have, people are going to criticize him for. Okay, so he doesn't have a jump shot. That should make it easy to guard him, right?
This is why I wanted to bring up the whole multiple MVPs and a championship thing, that he'd be one of 12 ever to do it, and that he's the only one to put up 85 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists combined in 2 games. That he's the only one. I don't give a shit that he doesn't have a jump shot because he doesn't need it.
No, and I've said
He can
this for years.
literally score 40 on you inside the paint and at the free throw line.
Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? Imagine if he had a jump shot. I know it's crazy in fantasy world. This dude would be dropping 60s all day, bro. It would be a wrap. If he's pulling up from three, now what?
When Nick Wright was talking about it, he was comparing him to Finals MVP Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah,
because Giannis is only averaging like a point and a half less, like a rebound less, like 2 more assists while shooting better and playing better defense than Shaquille O'Neal when he was getting Finals MVPs. So the fact that Giannis doesn't have a jump shot is really only, a contentious point because he doesn't play strictly in the paint because he's not a true center. Shaquille O'Neal never had a jump shot. Nobody gave a shit that Shaquille O'Neal couldn't shoot a jumper.
No, he just dunked on you. And you're like, he's awesome.
Because it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't
matter. He never
matter.
needed to. If Giannis doesn't need to get a jump shot, why should he? He's literally the best player at scoring in the paint. He's been the best since Shaquille O'Neal for like the last 4 seasons at scoring in the paint.
I'm gonna respond
his field goal percentage.
I'm gonna respond to Brad's comment for a sec, real quick. He is in a smaller market in a sense because he's in Milwaukee, but he's also international, so he has an entire country following him. And those international fans over there, they probably cheer for international players more than they cheer for USA players. I would just imagine, kind of like we cheer for our players that come from our college more. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. I mean, Giannis is international. Everybody knows who he is. He's a Nike brand. He's Bose. I mean, he's on hella commercials. Everybody knows who Giannis. 2-time MVP.
And he's getting to a point where he's got the influence in the front office. This happened with Bobby Portis, where the Bucks didn't go sign Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis texted Giannis and said, "Hey, I can help your team." Giannis went to the front office and said, "Hey, go get Bobby Portis," and they did. And it's been a great move.
The Packers should be listening to that message about their star player going, "Hey, I think we should go after this guy, because this guy, he talked to me, and I think it would be a good idea. It might be a good idea to listen to Aaron Rodgers." I'm just going to say that out loud, because it need to be said for some reason. My God. Anyways, back to Giannis. He's the man. He's unstoppable. He's a top 3 player in this league. I do not give a crap who is on your freaking list. He's better than Damian Lillard. He's better than Steph Curry. There's only 2 people who I give that are above him. That's a healthy LeBron James, because people forgot because he rolled his ankle and he's 37 years old. Yeah, he's playing with Bugs Bunny right now, okay? That's pretty fucking cool. Secondly, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is insane.
Yep. Kevin Durant.
We just watched him this playoffs go crazy against us. We almost lost to just Kevin Durant. That's how good Kevin Durant is. Those are the only 2 players I'm putting above Giannis. And you want to know why? Because they have an impact at both sides of the court. And I'm so sick of talking to people about basketball. Because they're like, "Oh, but he shoots this, and he does this on offense, and he's got this skill on offense." Okay, what the hell is he doing on the other side of the court? He gave up 40 himself. He ain't guarding nobody. Yeah,
that's why, like the James Harden thing, I saw. I'm in a couple NBA groups, and I saw a thing, and it was like current active players, and it had James Harden above Giannis. Oh my God! Knock it off! James Harden is not better than Giannis in any way.
All right,
Giannis is better than him coming into this season because he already has multiple MVPs. Also, the first player since Hakeem Olajuwon to win MVP and DPOY in the same year.
And
that hasn't been done in like 25 years.
Too. So he's one.
And the All-Star Game MVP.
We're gonna find out how good James Harden is when he can't do that flopping shit. The thing that bothers me with Harden has game. I will never say Harden doesn't have game. Harden is very skilled. But the thing that bothers people the most, myself included, is when Harden plays, he plays for the foul. He doesn't play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
When he got traded and he went to Houston, he went in his bag, bro. He's got a good handle. He could pass well. He could shoot well. He could finish well. He does all that. And he has an NBA body. But it just bothers me, all that flopping, cheesy crap, man. I ain't trying to watch that. That's hard to watch, man. I love Luka. Luka flops all the time. Luka is amazing. Stop doing that, Luka. You better than that. And he's on the cover of 2K22, by the way.
Don't put Luka over Giannis either. Don't do that.
No. He don't play enough defense, bro. Oh, so he has 40 points and 12
I
rebounds.
literally just said that to somebody today. Like, don't let the stats fool you. Like, his usage rate is insane because there's nobody else on Dallas.
Well, that's what James Harden was in Houston. Freaking literally, he would have the ball 80% of the freaking time. Of course, he's gonna have 50 points.
And it's not cool to score 35 points when you're scoring 20 at the free throw line. Like, that doesn't impress me.
I just wanted to say, man, I'm just so sick and tired of Giannis not getting his respect. I hope he goes crazy, dunks all over everybody. I love when he rebounds over Devin Booker because I've heard people say Devin Booker is better than Giannis, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, Devin Booker just became a star within the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
He started becoming he's always been a baller, always been a shooter. Don't get me wrong. But
he's an all-star. He's for sure.
He's an all-star level player. But there's levels, there's all-star, then there's star, then there's superstar. And I'm so sick and tired of everybody calling everybody a superstar, okay? Settle down with all that. There's like 5
very
superstars
elite
in the entire NBA.
Yeah. Yep.
So Devin Booker just became a star. You know, he started becoming a star last year in the bubble when he started going nuts and they went like 8-0 or whatever.
I mean, he had his 70-point game a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty bad.
They lost that game, but yeah, I mean, it was
they
still
lost
cool.
that game by like 15, I'm pretty sure. But that was against a good Boston team, by the way. But anyways, I don't know, man. Giannis has got to get his respect.
Brad, that's the other thing too. I keep telling people this. Like, he's 26.
Yeah, I know.
He's
I know it feels like he's been around forever, but I know, man. We still got 10 years of Giannis, man. Who knows? This might be a Jordan run. We don't know. This might be our Jordan run. It really might be.
It could. Especially if guys buy into it, like Bobby Portis. He's got a player option this year. If he's like, yeah, I can make $10 million to go play with the Orlando Magic, or I can make $5 million with the Bucks that I just won a championship with. Like,
I don't know. 20,000 people chanting my name sounds like a pretty good reason to sign, bro.
So does this big ass ring on my hand. Like,
yeah, dead ass, bro. Let's make it a second one, dude.
and the way that the guys, the chemistry of this team is awesome too.
Yeah.
Like, even down to the guys like Jordan Nwora and Sam Merrill and Thanasis, like, they're all up at the end of the bench. They're hyping each other up. It doesn't seem like those guys play a role because they don't get on the court a lot, but they do. Like everybody matters.
Yeah, man. I love this team, man. And I've been saying it for a long time now, since the beginning of the season. I don't think I've ever said it on here, but if anybody's going to break the championship curse that it seems like Wisconsin has right now since the last Packers title, I feel like we've just been getting hosed. If anybody's going to do it, it's a 6'11", godly, freakish guy from Greece, man. It really is. That's what it takes to break a curse.
We'll see. So, I mean, that's a good segue now because we can move into another team that could contend. And that's what we want to talk about is the Brewers. And the Brewers have a chance to do some stuff here. They kind of slid into the All-Star break. They lost 3 out of the 4 to the Reds. And now they play 3 more against the Reds coming out of the All-Star break. So they got a chance for revenge there. Some really weird stuff happened in that Red series. Christian Yelich getting tagged out on a play where he looked at second base on a ball that got past the first baseman, and then the second baseman jokingly tagged him, and the umpire called him out. It was a stupid thing. It's a really, really nitpicky call for an umpire to make, and that type of thing makes the game about the umpire, not about the players, which is something we've denounced in every sport that we've talked about, is that more whistles is almost always a bad thing. We talked about it in the NFC Championship game. We've talked about it during the Bucks games. And now it's happening in baseball where the umpires are like, hey, don't forget about me. I'm here. I want to be a big deal. And then it happened to Willie Adames that this bothers me that second baseman can block the bag while a guy is. And I know what I said to some of the people that were talking about it is that the MLB would say, well, if you don't want to get tagged out for your foot touching his foot, it's to slide head first. But that's still just such a nitpicky thing. If the second baseman can block the bag with his foot, either his foot should become part of the bag, so once you're touching it, you're safe, because that's basically what you're doing to have him tagged out in between his heel touching the bag while his foot is touching the second baseman's foot. In between his foot coming off of the second baseman's foot and getting back on the base is basically the equivalent of going up to somebody who's standing on a base, pushing him off, and then tagging him. That's basically what that boils down to.
Yep.
So my thing with that is that it either needs to be interference, and he should either be given second base because he beat the throw by a fucking mile anyways.
Yeah, and Cincinnati challenged that place. I remember that.
Or the second baseman's foot's got to be considered part of the bag, similar to the NBA where like your hand is considered part of the ball.
Yeah.
So those are my two thoughts on that. Willy Adames got like royally shafted. Like I said, he beat the throw by a mile and then got called out on a technicality, which is so stupid. Because like I said, that makes the game about instant replay and umpiring more than it does about the players, which is the last thing that baseball needs right now.
Yeah, baseball doesn't need the game longer, okay? So we don't need instant replays that take, 8 minutes. We don't need that. The game's already lasting like 4 freaking hours.
Especially when you're in a game that people are paying less attention to because there's less action. And this has been a big pitcher's year, and now there's so many bad umpires this season. There's so many. Like, a lot of below average umpiring this season to the point where it's like, should we do electronic umpires? Like, it's really getting to that point.
Yeah, I see a lot of people when I go on my Bleacher Report app that are saying that, man. I just read the comments and a lot of people want that.
So it's really annoying. And like I said, any situation where the officiating becomes the bigger story than the actual game and the players, like that's just a shot to the head of whatever sport it is. That it makes it less interesting, honestly, when you make it about the officiating more than the players. So speaking of players, Josh Hader kind of cooling off. He's not perfect. He played perfect for a long time. It's unrealistic to expect him to be 100% on saves at the end of the season. Urias and Yelich both struggled during that Red series. Urias was 2 for 14. Yelich was 3 for 13. I have some more on them. Looking forward to the second half. But like I said, they got a chance for revenge coming out of the All-Star break, coming into a series with the Reds. So let's. I want to get you. You said you have some keys to the second half for the Brewers to make a title run.
First things first. I was looking up the Reds, and the Reds. This is a weird stat. They are 8-5 against us. We're leading the division, so that's very good for them, bad for us. And like you said, revenge coming up pretty soon, hopefully. And they are 1-5 against the Diamondbacks. They have the same amount of losses against the Diamondbacks that they do against us. That's weird, isn't it?
That is weird, especially because the Diamondbacks have like 20 wins.
I know. And 5 of them are against the Reds. Reds are a pretty good team, though.
Yep.
But anyway,
good offense.
My keys. I was kind of pulling stuff from everywhere. One thing, I read an article on ESPN Plus today, and they were giving grades and a little bit of tidbits here and there on all the teams. And the Brewers had the third highest grade for the first half. They gave them an A-. So from me, I'm not going to take from them. I took from multiple sources, but these are the keys that I made. Number one is continue great pitching. We have great capable starters. Obviously, 3 of our 5 are absolutely power pitchers.
They're all stars.
Yeah, I mean, my boy Freddie looked like a boss, and he was the first Brewer ever to strike out the side in the All-Star game.
He was the first player ever.
Oh, first player ever.
Yeah.
I just
first player ever to strike out the side in an All-Star game.
My God, yeah, dude, he's a beast. That's my boy. Let's go. Those All-Star jerseys are sick, by the way. I like them.
I like the hats more than the jerseys.
I think the jerseys are cool. Are they vertical? I don't know. I don't know. I like them. So continue with the great pitching, starters, bullpen. I've always heard my whole life that if they don't score, you can't lose. Pretty simple.
That was the philosophy coming into the season between Counsell and Stearns was run prevention and run stopping. So
right. My second point was make hitting more consistent. Runners on base, getting on base. I think at times the Brewers, they've had their hot streaks, but they've also had their really, really lows. 2 people that I'm looking at for that. One is Yelich, I would really like him to return to MVP form. Him returning to MVP form can really just completely remake this offense. And 2 is Jackie Bradley Jr.
Yep.
If Jackie Bradley can start hitting at a consistent rate, imagine he's on base because he hits lower in the order than Yelich. He could be on base for Yelich to get more RBIs with his power return.
And Urias too.
Yeah, Urias.
I would throw Keston Hira in there as well.
Yeah, Hira as well. I mean, all the guys Hira, Bradley, Urias, those guys are all like down there. They're low guys, they're capable guys, they're professionals, man. Jackie Bradley has been in the league for a long time for a reason. He's a good ball player.
And he's obviously a great defender.
Yeah. And we've seen Keston hit, man. We've seen what he can do when he gets on a hot streak. That guy can hit a baseball, man. He's got to find it, man. And Urias is young, so he's the one guy I'll give a pass to because he's a young
I got some stuff on Urias.
It's I'm sure you do. That's your boy, man. That's kind of your boy.
I like Urias. I really am glad that the Brewers continued to commit to him even after the Willy Adames trade.
Right.
So, you got a third key yet, or
yeah,
I'll let you drop your third key.
Is don't make the unforced errors. When you have 3 errors in a game in a baseball game, that's in basketball. That's like having like 18 turnovers. Like that can't happen. You don't win a lot of those games. So really just this kind of ties into the pitching. Like you talked about the run prevention. That's kind of the same thing. Like take your routes to your fly balls, make the good throws to first base. Just be on your stuff, man. This Brewers team, man. They could be something special if they get to hitting, man. They really could. They could be scary. The Giants look really, really good right now, and the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Those are really the 2 teams that I think that are going to be competing with us at the end because you know what? The Cubs suck. I said to say that. I'm ready for your notes.
All right. So one other thing that I'm looking for first half versus second half is team health. Lorenzo Cain should be back soon. Hopefully Colton Wong is back soon. Just general team health is something I'm looking at. Hoping for some more run support for Corbin Burns because he deserves it.
Yeah, he does.
Just want to highlight a couple things. So Luis Urias is second on the team in home runs and RBI and hits.
My God.
So Luis Urias he's batting pretty well. His average is a little low. He's batting 237, I think, but he's still doing stuff. And he's got a lot more pop in his bat than Orlando Arcia ever did. So move on. Willy Adames has raised his batting average by 94 points in less than 2 months.
That's damn good.
He's gone from 197 to 291 in less than 2 months.
291?
291.
That's
Willy
pretty
Adames.
good. That's a solid-ass hitter, man.
So Willy Adames coming around big time. And then last thing that I have is Christian. You mentioned Christian Yelich. And he knows that he's not playing at his MVP level. He knows.
I know.
So his strikeout rate is what concerns me with him. He's striking out 27.7% of the time. What I've given him credit for is getting on base a lot. He's getting on base about 40% of the time. His walk rate is at the highest of his career at 19.8%. So those two, his walks and his strikeouts, accumulate for 47.5% of his at-bats. So almost 50% of the time, he's either walking or striking out. That, to me, says that he's just not seeing a lot of great pitches.
That's fair, actually.
So we'll see what happens with Yelich in the second half. I don't know if you have anything else before we sign off, but that's what I'm looking at.
Nah, man. We're going to have a great day today. I was really, really excited. Yesterday, I didn't want to go to work, and I just kept telling myself, Wednesday is going to be a great day, man. I got to do my podcast, which I love, with my boy. I mean, my brother was on as well. Obviously, love my brother. We get to watch the Bucks win an NBA Finals game, and we're going to have the Brewers coming back soon. Packers start training camp pretty soon, man.
Yep.
And, life is good, man. Just don't take things for granted, man. That's all I'm going to say. Life
All
is
right,
good.
man. All right. Well, I will see you next week then.
Yes, sir. Hey, Be safe. Tell the family I say hi, buddy.
All right, go Bucks.